Welcome back to the channel where rare coins meet big money, and today's story might just leave you speechless as we dive deep into one of the most fascinating tales in numismatics. The story of the 1978 D. Lincoln 1-cent coin, a coin that you'd normally pass by without a second glance. But what if I told you that this seemingly ordinary penny has commanded a staggering value of $97 million due to its unimaginable combination of minting errors, mechanical mistakes, and historical anomalies that have all coalesced to make it one of the most expensive and mysterious coins ever recorded? And in this extended deep dive, we'll explore not only why this coin is worth such a jaw-dropping sum, but also unravel every possible factor that contributes to its legendary status among collectors, experts, and treasure hunters around the world. So sit tight and join us as we dissect the anatomy of a once overlooked coin that has now taken on mythic proportions in the world of rare currency. And it all begins in 1978 at the Denver Mint, where hundreds of millions of 1-cent coins were struck, and on the surface, the 1978 D penny seems like any other, made primarily of copper with a small amount of zinc, weighing 3.11 grams. And featuring the iconic bust of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But the story changes dramatically with one particular specimen discovered decades later that appeared to contain multiple anomalies so rare and unique that even seasoned professionals were baffled at first glance, and as further analysis revealed, the coin in question was not just a misstrike or a double die, it was a miraculous storm of overlapping errors, layer upon layer of numismatic chaos that included a quadruple die obverse, a misaligned die clash, off-center strike, brockage imprint, partial collar, and striking pressure variations, along with an experimental planchet that should never have been used in regular circulation, and all of these features coexisting on a single coin is already beyond probability, but to find them on a coin that was authenticated, graded, and confirmed to be legitimate by multiple professional services like PCGS and NGC made this an unprecedented situation in the world of U.S. coin collecting. And let's break this down, starting with the quadruple die obverse. A die variety that causes the design elements to appear multiple times due to misalignments during the die creation process. And while double die coins are known and collected like the famous 1955 Lincoln cent, a quadruple die is astoundingly rare. And on this coin, Lincoln's profile shows 4 distinct overlapping outlines on the chin, jawline, and coat, while the motto, "In God We Trust," displays ghosting and notching that indicate it was struck from a die that had been impressed multiple times off-axis, suggesting an extreme malfunction or oversight during the die hubbing process at the Denver Mint. And then we move to the die clash error, where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, transferring parts of each other's designs onto the opposite die, and when the next planchet is struck, it receives ghost images from both sides, and in this coin, faint outlines of the Lincoln Memorial columns can be seen embedded on the obverse behind Lincoln's neck. A result of a powerful die clash that somehow went unnoticed during quality control. And then there's the misaligned strike, where the obverse was struck significantly off-center compared to the reverse, leading to an elliptical deformation along the rim which caused the coin's edge to appear thicker on one side and almost paper-thin on the other. And this leads us to the brockage imprint, a phenomenon where one coin becomes stuck in the die and acts like a die itself on the next strike. And the 1978 D specimen shows partial incuse mirrored impressions of Lincoln's bust on the reverse, meaning another cent got jammed in the striking chamber and served as a temporary die, which is almost impossible to happen in combination with all the other features unless the coin had undergone an extensive sequence of minting anomalies and a perfect storm of procedural failures. And as if that wasn't enough, the coin was also discovered to have a partial collar error, where the retaining collar that forms the coin's rim failed to engage fully, causing the edge to have a distorted, incomplete ridge with visible finning, a trait that combined with the improper strike pressure led to a warped and slightly convex surface profile, making the coin not only visually irregular but physically off balance. And then comes perhaps the most mysterious anomaly of all, the planchet itself, which upon metallurgical analysis was revealed to contain trace elements not typical of the copper-zinc alloy used in 1978, but instead showed signs of transitional composition possibly linked to experimental materials tested internally by the Mint for durability or anti-counterfeit purposes, and there have been whispers in the numismatic community that during the late 1970s, several mints, including Denver, were testing alternative compositions to prepare for inflation-driven changes in coinage metal. And this coin may have accidentally been struck on a prototype planchet that was either never officially recorded or mistakenly mixed into a bin of regular copper blanks. And with such an origin, the coin's already astronomical rarity becomes incalculable, and the condition of the coin only fuels its value further because despite all these errors, or perhaps because of them, the coin was preserved in remarkable shape, exhibiting only minor handling marks and retaining full red luster under magnification, which is exceptionally rare for any coin struck in error, especially one that likely passed through multiple strikes and mishandlings before finally being ejected from the press. And what happened next is part of coin collecting folklore. The coin was discovered decades later in a small hoard of bank-wrapped rolls by a casual hobbyist who at first thought it was a damaged or novelty coin, but upon closer inspection and a tip-off from a local coin dealer, it was sent in for authentication where it caused an immediate stir, leading to conferences, debates, expert opinions, and eventually a high-profile auction that saw fierce bidding among private collectors, museums, and institutions all vying for what had now been labeled a black swan of U.S. coinage, and the final hammer price, $97 million, shocked even the most jaded insiders, with speculation that the buyer was a consortium of tech billionaires and collectors pooling funds to acquire what they believe is a once-in-history artifact that bridges manufacturing, monetary policy, and art, and beyond the dollars and cents. This coin represents a singular moment in minting history where multiple improbable events align to create a piece so unique that its very existence defies conventional logic, and numismatists have since tried to trace its origin, study the error sequence, recreate the striking conditions, and even examine archival mint documents to understand how such a coin could have emerged without detection, and while no definitive explanation exists, the prevailing theory is that the coin was the result of a cascading series of machine errors that occurred during a time of operational stress at the mint. Perhaps during a shift change, mechanical recalibration, or emergency test phase, which allowed this extraordinary piece to bypass normal procedures and enter circulation, and this opens up broader questions about what other anomalies may be out there undiscovered, sitting in jars, drawers, or forgotten penny rolls, waiting to be identified by the keen eyes of everyday people. Because the 1978 1-cent coin has proven that even the smallest, most unassuming object can carry within it a story of such profound rarity and complexity that it transcends its face value by tens of millions of times. And while it may be tempting to dismiss this as a one-off fluke, many experts believe that other such coins may exist, not necessarily of the same value or error type, but with rare enough features to command life-changing sums. So the next time you handle a penny, especially one from the late 1970s, take a moment to look closer, check for doubling, examine the rim, feel the texture, weigh it. Because as the tale of the 1978 descent has taught us, legends can hide in plain sight, and numismatic miracles don't always come in gold or silver. Sometimes they're copper, overlooked and underestimated until one day someone realizes they've been holding history in their palm all along.